The Verizon DBIR over the last few years has seen a massive shift from malware-centric approaches to not that. Social engineering and identity theft and token theft and adversary in the middle and all of those types of things are targeting the identity. I want to steal you. I want to be you, and then I can just log in and take things from you. So when we think about this, with this massive shift to identity, we've never really caught up. We've never really focused that way. We've thought about the baddies that like to do bad things against us with malware, but we've rarely gotten full MFA adoption. In fact, at one point, Microsoft was very concerned that only 21% of companies implement strong authentication. What does that mean? What is strong authentication? It means taking away some of the things we built when we were young and stupid. You remember those times, right? Where we just said, you know what, we'll give everybody an identity and then a passcode, and then they'll be fine because if they put in their password, then nobody else will ever know their password. But that wasn't enough, right? And we see these things shifting to adding MFA or multiple factor authentication. Well, when we hear these words, they aren't necessarily well defined. I want to start and go back to an age-old concept, which is the IAAA. Identity, authentication, authorization, and yeah, auditing. When we talk about that, I first have to know you're Matt. I want to know, are you even presenting the right that's Matt? But then I need to authenticate you, right? So identity and authentication go hand in hand. And when we add MFA, it's just another A in that first A, authentication layer. I'm saying I have my password, I now have my phone, or I now have a TOTP code, or I now have something of that nature. But each of those are still easily socially engineered. There's an XKCD comic that says, if all that doesn't work, take this pipe and hit him in the head until he gives us the password, right? And that's real, and I can still force you and coerce you into those things. So the topic I want to cover today is strong authentication in general, and really kind of things that start to work towards making it harder and harder to have the user make mistakes and making it harder and harder for threat actors to be able to do the things they do. Doesn't mean it goes away. What am I talking about? I'm talking about FIDO, right? I'm talking about using authentication with FIDO that allows me to say, I have this key. It can only be taken from me cryptographically when something's actually on this device and takes the token that's been generated. Additional to that, FIDO and TPM and modern authentication methodologies make the user's experience better. It just makes it easier. If I have a TPM or a trusted platform module, and I'm bound to Azure Active Directory or Entra ID, and I'm signing into something using OAuth, the primary refresh token, and I'm sorry if I'm just tossing all these terms out, the primary refresh token and the TPM signing a nonce just instantly says I'm me at a very highly trusted cryptographic level. My point is that when we think about this, we should be thinking about making it harder and harder and harder for threat actors to attack your users, and easier and easier and easier for your users to do their daily function and not interrupt them. And that really is the panacea of the perfect combination of those two. If you're not using strong authentication today, you should be. If you have questions about that, that's why you're at GTIA. You have people you can talk to, this guy and other people that would gladly sit down and banter over this with you for a long time. Make your users more secure and make their jobs easier to do at the same time by using strong authentication methods. And in general, start realizing that your users aren't just on a locally controlled Active Directory system running applications that sit there locally and authenticate, but rather they're like using stuff everywhere, at the library, at Starbucks, at the bar, potentially, but not as much, I suppose. And they are absolutely everywhere, and you have to think about how you protect them in all of those different ways. We're not in a walled garden. We're not in a castle and moat anymore. We are living out in the real world, and identity centrism is really something I'm passionate about. Go forward and learn more.